Okay, hello everyone, kamusta? Ang topic natin ngayon tungkol sa cognitive psychology. Pag-uusapan natin the cognitive psychology of God's will. In the Bible, pag pinag-uusapan natin yung God's will, very connected yan sa the Lord's Prayer found in Matthew chapter 6. This was the time when Jesus was teaching His disciples how to pray. So sabi ni Kristo, paano magdasal? Ito yung sasabihin. More or less the template of the prayer. Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Now, given our lecture for today, ang i-highlight ko dito is verse 10. Kapag ina-apply mo yung Lord's Prayer, ibig sabihin nun yung prayer mo is after God's will. So when you pray to God and you say, Thy will be done, ibig sabihin, pinaprioritize mo sa prayer mo na dapat ang manaig, dapat ang mangyari is God's will over your will. Halimbawa, meron kang gustong choice, meron kang gustong outcome. But you prayed the Lord's Prayer, ina-apply mo yung Thy will be done, ang ibig sabihin lang nun, ang sinasabi mo, hindi na baling hindi matupad yung gusto mo, basta ang matupad yung kagustuhan ng Diyos. That's what it means when you say Thy will be done in your prayer. Halimbawa, pinagpipray mo na sana ang makuha mong kotse, color black. Pero pag pinag-pray mo, Thy will be done, ang sinasabi mo, hindi na baling hindi color black ang makuha mo, basta yung kulay na makukuha mo is what God wants for you, then dapat yun ang matupad. That's what it means when your prayer is after God's will, when you say, Thy will be done. So bakit natin pinag-uusapan to in the field of cognitive psychology? Kasi malaki ang kinalaman yan in making choices. Kapag pumipili tayo from a set of alternatives at pinairal natin yung Thy will be done, isa yung strategy on how to choose from those many alternatives. Kaya malaki ang kinalaman ng lecture na to sa CogPsych, specifically in decision making. Because praying this kind of prayer is one strategy para makapili tayo ng choice among many other alternatives. And later on as I go along, you will see na yung ganyang strategy, when you let God choose for you, is a very good strategy in terms of our mental health. Nagiging maganda ang mental health natin in the process of choosing one from many other alternatives kapag hinahayaan natin na ang Diyos ang pumipili para sa atin. Now, in the Bible, one good example of the application of Thy will be done, yung ginawa ni Kristo when He was praying in the Garden of Gethsemane. If you remember the story, malapit na siyang hulihin dito, malapit na mangyari yung crucifixion. So in this situation, Jesus had two alternatives in His mind. Yung unang alternative niya is, gusto niya hindi na matuloy yung crucifixion. Kasi na-foresee na niya na mahirap, masakit. So, syempre, meron din siyang side na ayaw niyang matuloy. But look at his prayer. Father, if you are willing, take this cup from me. Yun yung gusto niya. But he closes prayer by saying, not my will, but yours be done. So, anong ibig sabihin nun? May dalawang alternatives dito. Matuloy ang crucifixion versus hindi matuloy ang crucifixion. Anong pinagpe-pray ni Kristo? Yung gusto niya, hindi matuloy. Take this cup from me. Pero, ano ang gusto niyang mangyari in His prayer? Sana yung sagot sa prayer niya, not His will, but God's will. So, ang sinasabi niya dito, in case na yung kagustuhan mo matuloy yung crucifixion, kalimutan nyo na yung gusto kong hindi matuloy. Your will over my will. That's what it means when you say, Thy will be done in the Lord's Prayer. And notice that Jesus applied what He taught. He walked the talk. Diba kanina, tinuruan niya yung mga disciples paano magdasal, dapat daw yung prayer mo is after God's will. So you pray, Thy will be done. And that's exactly what Jesus did here. Pinakita niya na mas mahalaga pa rin yung God's will over His own will. So He practiced, He applied what He taught. Okay, so that's what it means to pray to God after His will or to pray, Thy will be done. Now, you translate this in everyday life. Kapag nahaharap tayo sa alternative, sa pagpili ng mga choices, what does it mean when you pray, Thy will be done? Halimbawa, pinagpe-pray mo sa Diyos kung bibili ka ba ng mahal na cellphone or mura na cellphone. Tapos in-apply mo yung Thy will be done. Anong ibig sabihin yan? Kahit na deep inside you, mas gusto mo yung mahal na cellphone kasi mas maganda yon, mas uso, mas maayos, but if it's God's will for you to have the cheaper cellphone, ang sinasabi mo, Lord, hindi na baling hindi na matuloy yung pagbili ko ng mahal na cellphone. Basta yung cellphone na mas mura na matatanggap ko, as long as that's your will for me, then I would prefer that over the more expensive cellphone. Ganyan ang application ng thy will be done. Another example, pinagpipilian mo if you're going to migrate to another country or stay here in the Philippines. And then in-applyan mo ng thy will be done. Deep inside you, mas gusto mo talagang mag-migrate. Kasi mas maraming opportunity, mas malamig, mas malaki sweldo, mas merong career growth kapag nag-migrate ka sa isang country. Yun yung gusto mo. But if you apply thy will be done, ang sinasabi mo, Lord, don't hesitate na tanggalin o hindi, wag mong i-grant yung prayer ko na mag-migrate ako as long as or basta yung will mo sa akin is to stay here in the Philippines. So if it's God's will for you to stay in the Philippines, then by all means, make me stay in the Philippines. Kalimutan nyo na yung hiling ko to move to another country and have a better life. Ganyan yung ibig sabihin ng thy will be done. Kaya mabigat yan. Mabigat yung prayer na yan because most of the time, talagang meron tayong obsession na i-prioritize yung gusto natin over all other things. So when you pray, thy will be done, ready ka na i-cancel yung gusto mo in favor of what God wants for you. Another good example is, pinagpe-pray mo kung kanino ka magpapakasal. Meron ka ng choice. Gwapo, mayaman, okay naman ugali, maganda yung background ng family. Pero pag pinag-pray mo, thy will be done, ino-open mo yung posibilidad na baka hindi matuloy yung gusto mo siya yung pakasalan. Kasi baka merong ibang gusto yung Diyos for you and you would rather have that than the person that you have chosen for yourself. So ready ka i-let go yung choice mo in favor of what God wants for you or who God wants for you in this situation. Ganyan ang ibig sabihin ng thy will be done. So ang claim natin in connection to all this in this lecture is mapapansin nyo o makikita ninyo that it's very psychologically healthy if you let God choose for you. Kasi basically yan ang ginagawa. Pag sinabi mong thy will be done, i-apply mo yan sa decision making, it's like saying you are letting God choose for you. So i-let go mo yung privilege mo to choose in favor of God choosing for you. Ang claim natin dito, it's psychologically healthy to do that. Kaya sana at the end of this lecture, mas ma-encourage kayo na kapag you are faced in situations where you need to choose, one good strategy to apply in choosing is to let God choose for you. So there are two reasons bakit ko nasabi that it's psychologically healthy to let God choose for you. Number one is kapag ang Diyos ang pumipili para sa'yo, it shields you from the paradox of choice. And number two, if you let God choose for you, it will shield you from bad choices. So ito yung dalawang dahilan kung bakit nagme-make sense that you let God choose for you. Unahin natin yung paradox of choice. Kapag hinayaan mo na ang Diyos ang pumili para sa'yo, naliligtas ka sa paradox of choice. Gumawa ako ng lecture dito sa paradox of choice, panoorin nyo na lang para mas maintindihan nyo kung ano bang ibig sabihin ng paradox of choice. Pero mabilisan lang, i-review natin, ang ibig sabihin lang ng paradox of choice is when you make a decision from a number of possible alternatives, imbis na natutuwa tayo in choosing among those alternatives, bumababa pa yung level of happiness natin from that situation or in that situation. Making choices, especially from many options, lowers our happiness. Yan yung paradox of choice, which is contrary to our expectation. Akala kasi natin mas marami tayong options, mas masaya tayo, but the data is showing the reverse. Ang tao mas maraming choices, mas maraming alternatives, tapos isa lang yung pipiliin niya, mas nakaka-stress pala, hindi pala siya nakakatuwa. As you can see here on the graph, ito yung summary of what the data is showing in connection to the paradox of choice. So, hindi laging maganda na marami kang alternatives na pinagpipilian in making a choice. And according to experts in this field, there are two reasons kung bakit bumababa yung happiness natin kapag pumipili tayo ng choice among many alternatives. Number 1, kaya bumababa yung happiness mo kasi nakaka-stress, nakaka-overwhelm, nakaka-confuse yung pipili ka ng isa from many other alternatives. Lalong-lalo na kapag sa mga alternatives na yon marami kang gusto, hindi lang isa. Let's say namimili ka anong sapatos yung bibilin mo. Isa lang ang budget mo, isang sapatos lang yung budget mo. Pero marami kang gusto from the many choices, so in the process of choosing one from the many, nai-stress ka. So imbis na natutuwa ka sa situation na may choice ka na mamili, ano nangyayari? Nagiging stressful, bumababa yung level of happiness mo in choosing one shoes from the many alternatives. Now, you translate that in everyday life. Sa paradox of choice, sabihin natin namimili ka kung anong eskwelahan yung papasukan mo. School A, B, C, or D. Akala natin maganda na marami tayong choice, pero ang sinasabi ng paradox of choice, masyadong nakaka-overwhelm, masyadong nakakalito kapag meron kang 4 choices kung saang eskwelahan ka papasok. So in the process of you choosing which school to go into, habang tumatagal ka sa pag-iisip kung anong pipiliin mo, bumababa yung level of happiness mo. At the end of the day, kapag nakapili ka na ng isa, dahil bumaba na yung level of happiness mo while choosing the alternative, hindi mo masyadong na-enjoy yung choice na pinili mo at the end of the day. Kumbaga, naubos na yung happiness mo doon pa lang sa proseso ng pagpili. Kaya nung namili ka na ng isa, hindi na ganon kataas yung level of happiness that you can feel towards your choice. So yan yung paradox of choice. So going back, paano yung thy will be done nakakatulong sa pag-cancel ng paradox of choice? Kapag in-apply mo kasi yung thy will be done, hindi mo na pagdaraanan yung process wherein bumababa yung happiness mo sa pagpili from many other alternatives. Kasi nga, hindi na ikaw yung namimili eh. Yung burden ng pagpili, tinatransfer mo from yourself to God. It's like saying, God, ayoko nang mag-isip, ayoko nang mamili on my own. Okay, ikaw na lang ang pumili para sa akin, choose the best one for me according to your will. So kapag na-bypass mo na yon, hindi ka na nag-undergo ng process na ikaw yung mamimili para sa sarili mo, ano mangyayari? Hindi mo na ma-experience yung pagbaba ng level of happiness in the process of doing that. Because again, you are letting God choose for you. So naligtas ka doon sa stress, doon sa pagka-overwhelm, doon sa confusion kung alin ang pipiliin mo. Di ba? So, when you let God choose for you, naliligtas ka sa first effect ng paradox of choice. Another expression of paradox of choice, punta tayo sa number 2, sabi ng paradox of choice, oras na pumili ka na ng isa from the many other alternatives, merong tendency na hindi ka magiging masaya doon sa pinili mo. Bakit? Kasi at the back of your head, meron kang thinking what could have been. Dahil may pinili kang isa, marami kang hindi pinili. So at the back of your head, iniisip mo na baka yung current na pinili mo, hindi yun yung best choice. Baka yung best choice, nandoon sa mga bagay na hindi mo pinili. And when you realize that idea, what could have been, baka hindi ito yung best choice na pinili ko, it lowers down your satisfaction to your current choice. Kaya nakalagay dito, happiness stealer. That kind of thinking will steal your happiness from the choice that you have made for yourself. Kasi nga, lagi mo iniisip, maybe itong choice na pinili ko, hindi ito yung best, hindi ito yung right. Kaya lagi kang nagwa-wonder, lagi kang naka-curious, baka yung best choice, isa sa mga hindi ko pinili. And that lowers down your satisfaction to your current choice. Kaya pwede mo itong i-apply sa mga relationships eh. Ni-lecture ko to in my previous video. Let's say you apply this in marriage. Meron kang asawa, siya na yung pinili mo. Pero syempre, pag pumili ka ng isang asawa, marami kang hindi pinili. So, ang paradox of choice, papaisipin ka, baka naman hindi siya yung best partner for you. And the more na iniisip mo yon, the more na nare-reinforce yung ganong doubt that maybe your wife is not the best choice you have made, it will lower down your satisfaction towards your wife, tataas yung iyong motivation to cheat on your wife. Kasi gagawa ka ng paraan para matry mo yung ibang options na hindi mo naman pinili. 'Di ba? Tataas yung drive mo na makipag-relationship sa mga tao na hindi mo naman wife just to try out the idea that maybe your wife is not your best choice. Kaya karamihan ng mga cheating songs that you can hear in popular media, ang explanation dyan, kaya nila nagawa yan, meron silang paradox of choice. Yan, diniscuss ko to sa previous lecture ko. Sana dalawa ang puso ko, kaya niya nasulat yung kanta na yan eh. Kasi na-experience niya yung paradox of choice. Nagkakaroon siya ng doubt na baka yung current partner niya, hindi yun yung best choice. Baka yung better choice, yung isang bago niyang nakilala. So bumaba yung level of satisfaction niya sa current niya, tinatry out ngayon niya yung bagong choice. So yan ang epekto ng paradox of choice sa decision that we have made. It will make us doubt our current choice, which steals happiness. It will steal our happiness from the choice that we have made. O ngayon, paano makakatulong yung thy will be done sa ganitong epekto ng paradox of choice? Kapag hinayaan mo ang Diyos ang pumili para sa'yo, hindi ka magkakaroon ng what could have been. Kapag talagang naniniwala ka sa Diyos, kilala mo yung Diyos na sinasamba mo, kilala mo yung Diyos na pumili para sa'yo, matatanggal sa utak mo yung what could have been because you know that God made or makes the best choice. He always makes the best choice. So hindi ka pwede magkaroon ng what could have been kasi sureball ka 100% that because this is the person that God has chosen for me, this is the best choice. Sigurado ko ito yung best choice that I could make because God is the one who helped me make this choice. So nakakancel out yung what could have been, nasusustain mo yung level of satisfaction mo sa current choice mo. Now, mag-side view lang ako, no? Bakit tayo 100% sure that God makes the best choice? If you are a Christian and you let God choose for you, why is it that you are so sure that God's choice for you is the best choice? Because God knows everything. May kinalaman niya sa omniscience ng Diyos. If you will read this passage, yan ang sinasabi, God knows everything. He has complete data. Lahat alam niya, lahat nakikita niya. And He uses that data to make the right choice for you. And that right choice is equals the best choice that He could give you. Pinag-aaralan kasi yan sa decision making in cognitive psychology. Isa sa mga reasons why we will make the right choice or the correct choice kasi marami tayong data na alam before making the choice. The more data you have before you make a choice, the better the choice that you will make. Eto, Diyos. Siya yung pinapili mo. Siya yung pinamake mo ng choice. Siya yung Diyos na alam ang lahat. Therefore, kapag gumawa siya ng choice, kasi hinayaan mo siyang gumawa ng choice para sa'yo, given the fact that He has complete data, sureball tayo kung ano man yung choice na ibibigay niya sa atin, that's the best choice for us. Kapag tayo lang ang pumili, we don't have the complete data. Bakit? Hindi naman tayo all-knowing. Marami tayong mga bagay na hindi alam, hindi nakikita. Unfortunately, kapag binase natin yung choice natin on those limited data, most likely it leads us to the wrong choice. But again, since you let God choose for you, a God who has complete data, a God who knows everything, and you let that God choose for you, hindi ka talaga dapat magduda na yung ibibigay niya sa yung alternative is the best one for you. Alright? So yun yung number 1. Kapag pinag-pray mo yung thy will be done, it shields you from the effects of paradox of choice. Punta tayo sa number 2. Kapag pinag-pray mo yung thy will be done, i-shield ka niya from making bad choices. Kasi in reality, tayong mga tao, kung gagamitin lang natin yung cognitive resources natin in choosing a choice from a number of alternatives, we are not good decision makers. We are not good choosers. Earlier pa lang sa Bible 'di ba? Yung mga ninuno natin, yung mga ancestors natin were not making the right choice. Eve did not make the right choice by disobeying God. Cain did not make the right choice by killing his brother. And all throughout the Bible, ang dami-dami mga characters, they were making poor choices. And because of the sinful nature of man, lahat ng nakikinig ngayon, that includes me, we have inherited that flawed system of making bad choices. Kung baga na sa spiritual programming na natin that most likely the choice that we're gonna choose for ourselves are bad choices. Kaya nga nasulat ni Jeremiah yan eh. The heart is deceitful above all things. That explains why we make bad choices. Because our heart, our cognitive process is infested by sin. At yung sin na yan, kapag ginagamit natin yung sin or yung sinful nature natin as basis for choosing something, oftentimes we make the bad choice. To be more specific, yung heart na yan, heart is deceitful, what does it mean? It means, as human beings, as sinful human beings, we use emotions in choosing, which is not good. Pinag-aaralan niya sa CogPsych, the more emotions you use in choosing something, most likely you will make a bad choice. At yung mga emotions na yan, very inline pa yan sa sinful nature natin. Nakakabit yan sa katawan natin sa flesh natin. We use those sinful emotions based on the flesh in making decisions, such as, lust, jealousy, rage, selfishness, greed, godlessness. These different emotions, ito yung madalas na ginagamit ng psychological system natin in making choices for ourselves. Kasi nga, ganyan yung sinful nature natin. So, we are not surprised, kaya ang mga tao, madalas kapag pumipili ng choices, lalong-lalo na kapag sobrang halaga ng choice na yun sa buhay nila, most of the time, it's the wrong choice. Makakasigurado ka that the choice that you're gonna make using these emotions as basis, sure ball, mali yan. And this is what does not happen when you let God choose for you. Because God is exactly not like that. Diba? Ang Diyos, being a perfect being, wala siya nito. Hindi siya ganyan. He is the complete opposite of this. So, i-cancel out mo yan, and that God makes the choice for you, makakaasa ka that you will get the best choice. Idagdag mo pa dito that God is all-knowing. So, God is not like this, plus He is all-knowing, and you let Him choose for you, boom, sure ball. When you pray, your will be done. And God answers that prayer. He gives you His will over your will, makakaasa ka, that's the best choice that you could ever get. Kaya ang application nito, kung a-apply natin tong Thy Will Be Done na lecture natin in connection to cognitive psychology, i-apply mo to sa mate selection. If you let God choose for you who you should marry, it makes a lot of sense. Unahin muna natin if you don't let God choose for you. Kasi mayabang ka, gusto mo ikaw ang pipili para sa sarili mo. Meron kang dalawang risk na kakaharapin. Number one, you risk yourself making the wrong choice, which 99% of the time you will make the wrong choice given your sinful nature. Another risk is mabibiktima ka ng paradox of choice. Yung dalawang epekto na sinabi ko kanina, mangyayari sa iyo yon. Now, both of these risks, kapag nag-apply sa iyo yan, in choosing, most likely you're gonna end up with the wrong choice. Pero, kapag pinairal mo yung Thy will be done, you let God choose for you, it cancels out the two. Because you let God choose for you, hindi mag-a-apply sa'yo yung wrong choice. Because God does not make wrong choices. And you let Him choose for you. Number two, you let God choose for you, masishield ka from paradox of choice. Hindi nag-a-apply sa Diyos ang paradox of choice. Hindi mo na iisipin what could have been because you know that the choice given to you is the best choice. So, you sustain your satisfaction with your current choice. Hindi ka ngayon mag-cheat in the relationship. Same with your partner, hindi rin siya mag-cheat sa'yo. Because your partner knows that you are the best choice for him or for her because she also let God choose for him or her. So, yan ang maganda sa Thy Will Be Done. Diba? Nagiging maganda yung overall outcome ng decision making mo. Overall, in bird's eye view, isa pang epekto ng Thy Will Be Done kapag nakakancel out yung dalawang risk factors na yan in decision making, we learn contentment. Yan yung nagiging epekto. When we know that it is God who has chosen for us, so wala tayong wrong choice, wala tayong paradox of choice, now we learn contentment. Kung ano man yung binigay sa atin ng Diyos, knowing the fact that God was the one who gave us that alternative, we become contented. Kaya si Apostle Paul, yan yung isa sa mga characteristics niya. He was super contented with everything he's in. Sinabi niya yan in one of his letters sa Philippians. Ang dami niyang mga na-experiences, both good and bad. But why is it he's always contented, regardless whether maganda or pangit yung situation niya? Because ito yung kanyang philosophy. in every situation I am in, God chose this for me. I let God choose everything for me, sabi niya. And if that's the case, if in every situation, it is God's choice for me to be in here, this is for my own goodness. Kaya kapag ganyan yung mindset mo, ganyan yung thinking mo, kahit anong situation yung dumating sa'yo, hindi ka magrereklamo. Hindi mo ko questionin. Because you know, whether the situation is good or bad, it's the best for you. Why? Because it's God who has chosen for you to be in that situation. And that's a definition of contentment. In whatever you are in, whether good or bad, happy ka. Nasusustain mo yung well-being mo because you let God choose for you. Kaya in closing, isa sa mga takeaways ko in preparing this lecture is sana ma-realize ninyo that the Lord's Prayer is good for the psyche. Actually, isang aspeto pa lang ng Lord's Prayer yung diniscuss ko dito. Marami pang sinabi si Kristo sa Lord's Prayer, gagawa na lang natin ng ibang content. But at least for that part, anong tinuturo ng prayer? When you pray, you let God choose for you. You can tell Him what you want, but you acknowledge na pwedeng ma-override yung will mo over His will because you are after God's will. And seeking after God's will is good for your mental health. In what way? Kasi if you let God choose for you, if your prayer is after God's will, naliligtas ka from wrong choices. Nasusustain mo yung happiness mo, yung satisfaction mo sa alternative na darating sa'yo. Hindi ka nagkakaroon ng doubt na baka you did not get the best choice. After all, God has chosen this for you, therefore 100% it's the best choice. So naliligtas ka sa mga negative emotions in connection to decision making. Alright? So very powerful talaga yung Lord's Prayer na yan and the concept of thy will be done. It's very good for our mental health. If you have any questions, comments, or any other examples, ilagay nyo lang dyan sa baba sa comment section. Sir Howard here. Until the next lecture, God bless everyone. Bye-bye.